Namaste and hello. This is your Sanskrit instructor welcoming you back into lesson number 188. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the present participle passive. So earlier we learned about the present participle active, the present participle middle voice. Now we're doing the present participle passive. We're adding mana to the end, and we're replacing we're replacing te of the third person singular of the present passive. This should not be confused with the present participle middle, okay? Because we also had to replace a te with mana in the present participle verbs taking atmanepada terminations, but this was replacing. First, you had to conjugate it to third person singular, okay, of the present tense. But here, we are conjugating our verbs to the third person singular of the present passive. So that's a huge difference as to what your participle is going to become. And that's very important. So, all verbs and form their present participle passive in mana. To form the termination te of the third person singular of the present passive is replaced by mana. So we have examples that follows. So gum, first conjugation, becomes gamyate, and then you have that te is replaced by the mana, so it becomes gamyamana, being gone to. Da, which means to give, in the third person singular, that turns into diyave. No, it's not. It's diyate. So da becomes diyate in the third person singular, and then that becomes diyamana, being given. So, for example, diyate is given, but diyamana is being given, the ing. So that is the difference here. Kri becomes kriyate. I should make that ra a little bit more obvious. So kri becomes kriyate, and that usually means is done. But now kriyate turns into kriyamarna, and that means being done. Then we have smri turns into smaryate, and then that te is replaced by the mana, and then it becomes smaryamarna. Notice that for kriyamarna and smaryamarna, the dental na is turning into the cerebral na, because that is what is preceding it in that word is era. Chur becomes chorayeta. No, chur becomes chorayate, and then that te is replaced by the mana, and it becomes chorayamarna, which means being stolen. So it changed from is stolen to being stolen. Now that we have our examples of the present passive participle, we have to see how they are going to be declined. So the masculine is declined like kupaha, and the neuter is also declined like vanam, just like the present participle middle voice that we learned in the last video for the verbs that end with the atmanepada terminations. So again, the feminine will be discussed later. One thing to be mindful about here is to make sure that you're making sure that before you're making your change to mana, that you are keeping it in the third person singular of the present passive, and not just present tense for the middle voice. So that's very important. With that, this is your Sanskrit instructor signing off with a namaste.